Finally, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Ephesians 6:10. Praise God. Steve Cameron here with you with another episode of Digging Deeper. I've stepped away from my studio to come outside and get a breath of fresh air. Praise God. Let's dig a little deeper into Ephesians chapter 6. It starts out by Paul telling the church at Ephesus that children need to honor their parents, need to obey their parents if they're still living under their roof as children. And even then, as we get older, we must honor our parents. We may not have to obey every single word that comes out of their mouth. We may be adults now, but we have to be loving. We have to have that fruit of the Spirit coming out of us, dealing with our parents as always should be. Praise God. And then he talks about children with their parents, and then parents with their children, how to behave, fathers, mothers. And then he talks about, in the Bible it kind of talks about slavery, but the biblical slavery was a little bit different. Masters, taskmasters, in biblical times, people worked, and they worked with masters. Anyway, that's for another sermon altogether, but it's not the same as we understand slavery today. It could become like that, but no. Honestly, there were many people in biblical times who stayed with their masters because they worked for them. You find somebody who's richer than you, because there's no corporations, businesses like that back in Jesus' time. So you find people who have money, who need workers, and bam, there you go. You're working for them, and you get a day's wage for a day's work. Praise God. Anyway, the whole point of this Ephesians discussion from Paul is that he's talking to parents, children, and companies, so to speak, businesses, and people who work for other people, and the people who are over other people. And he says, finally, do good to each other, be good to each other, do these behaviors. And then, finally, be strong in the power of the Lord, in his might, in his strength. And so, that tells us, again, that we can't do anything without God. Paul said when he is weak, God is strong. God is strong. And when we are weak, we find that only through God can we really, truly make it through. Make it through. You ever been through a trial? You ever been through a situation where you didn't have much control, or possibly any control whatsoever? It just seemed like you were sick, somebody else was sick, maybe somebody passed away in your family close to you. You just didn't know what to do with yourself. And we have to deal with the situation, and we're always going to have people in that situation, right? Whether it be parents, children, or people we know, co-workers, extended family members. We need to treat them well, even during difficult times. That means we don't yell and scream at them, right? We don't take out our frustrations on our spouses and other people. We just don't do that as Christians. We are strong. Paul says, finally be strong in the power of the Lord, in his strength, in his might. And what he's saying there actually is to stay in the fruit of the Spirit, to stay loving, to stay kind during these times, to stay patient, to stay holy, and treat people with respect, treat people with love. So and why is this a digging deeper? Well, because the Bible kind of separates things. We have these chapters in the Bible that are separated so that we can read it more clearly, but oftentimes it's not separated where it flows properly. Because Paul is saying here, finally. So he's finishing what he was talking about in verses 1 through 9. And then after verse 10, he goes into the armor of God. Which, yes, it has to do with what he said prior in verses 1 through 10. But this verse 10 finishes everything before it, verse 1 through 9. And so that's why we wanted to dig a little deeper, so that you can understand, why is Paul saying, finally be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Because Paul understood that there was things going on in Ephesus and that we needed to treat our parents and treat our children and our extended family members and our co-workers and our employees. We needed to treat them with respect through all times. Through all times. So if you find yourself in a difficult situation, pray to the Lord, ask for his strength, so that not only can you endure the trial, but so that you can exude, so that you can abide, so that you can show and shine the fruit of the Spirit in love to everyone around you. Because, it's been said before, you never know really what comes out of somebody until you squeeze them. Right? So when we're squeezed, when the pressure is on, what comes out of us? It should be the power of the Lord, the strength of his might. The strength of the Lord should come out of us, not our flesh, not the works of the flesh. Praise God. Till next time, may the Lord richly bless you.